I never knew I had heart problems. They never told me. They never questioned, the lack of breath. And I was introduced to the global cardio care through Dr. Michael Beckwith, founding minister of Agape. The first treatment I had with global cardio care after breaking my collarbone, I went in and my arm I could not move my arm beyond this point, which it was just a little bit above my waist. After the first treatment, I was in the middle of the hallway here in Inglewood, and I was like, I felt like some biblical character. I'm healed. But what had happened was that I could raise my arm. I raised my arm and I said, I can raise my arm. So that was a miracle to me. That was a miracle. It was a miracle of getting that circulation going. And that's what EECP does for you. That's what it did for me. And I'm so grateful for that. And I was cool for a while, going through my life. And all of a sudden, it really got hard to breathe. It was real hard to breathe. So I'm going through life. I can't breathe. What is wrong with me? What's wrong with me? And a friend of mine said, Gail, it sounds like you're having heart issues. And I said, oh my God, yes, of course. Global cardio care. I come in. I start taking sessions. EECP actually saved me from a stroke, saved me from a heart attack, because it got to the point of where I could hardly breathe and walk. So kept me, safe, and protected from really serious effects from having heart failure. It's more than a business mission. It's a spiritual mission. It's a healing mission. It's a mission of prevention. And I love her. I love you guys so much, I just love it. I really do. I thought I had a good diet until I started listening to those lessons, that Sarah tapes. And once you're on the table, you let this information filter into your mind, into your spirit, and wow, you never stop learning. Sarah is so into that nutritional thing because that's really a major cause of heart dysfunction. I asked my cardiologist about that. He said, I don't know anything about nutrition. What? How can you be a cardiologist and you don't know anything about nutrition? I mean, Lord, help us. Because thank you for sending Sarah and her posse. Because I can't believe it when he told me that, and he is a marvelous, cardiologist, and I had the best, the very best, but still, really, you don't know about nutrition. I developed AFib, and so he gave me this medication to slow my heart rate, to regulate my heart rate. I had never taken prescription drugs in my entire life. When I took that prescription drug, I became moody. I became, depressed. I was crying all the time. And every time I stood up, I got really, really dizzy. You know what he told me? Stand up slow. Stand up slow. I was on the table the other day, and I noticed that my heart rate is beginning to become more natural. I said, wow, because it used to be really intense. And I said, wow, it's becoming calmer. It's becoming, more regulated. And once you get in that table, and especially since you've had more than one session, more than one or two or three sessions, and it's become a part of your life, a part of your preventive care, then you just get on that table and you go into a space, and you just allow the EECP treatments just to heal you and to regulate your heart and to clear your arteries. It's the most phenomenal thing I've ever experienced in healing myself. And once again, and I'm gonna say it all the time, I'm so grateful. No, I want the world to have EECP treatments, I mean, it is a vision of mine, because I think it's my responsibility as someone who has benefited so much from global cardio care to carry the vision that this is going to be worldwide. It's just for the sake of compassion and to really, introduce and to educate us, on preventive care. It's the cutting edge. That's my prayer. That's my vision, for Sarah. The one thing that I would like to add is that, Sarah is the light, of this organization. But Sarah has people working with her that are precious. And to Sarah, of course, who is such a gifted, brilliant young woman. And I'm so grateful that she has the courage, to go forth with her vision, with so much love and so much compassion, that when you're in her presence, you just, even though I'm old enough to be her mom, I just feel so protected, and I'm grateful. I'm grateful. I'm grateful